Have you ever had something trigger you and you didn't understand why you had such a big emotional response to that trigger? Today, I'm going to be taking you through the steps of how to map a personal trigger and figure out where that is coming from. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Faith. I help women who feel stuck and out of control in their life go from a place of self-doubt and frustration to a place where they are clearing mental blockages and activating and balancing their feminine and masculine energies. So if this interests you, make sure you subscribe and you can join the family. So the benefit of mapping a personal trigger is it helps you regulate and understand the way your body and your brain responds when you are triggered. So the benefit of mapping a personal trigger is it helps you visualize and regulate your emotional responses so you understand what is happening in your body and your brain when you are triggered. This is based on neuroscience findings that show how your amygdala, which is your brain's emotional detector, and your prefrontal cortex, which is your brain's rational regulator, how they interact when you are triggered. This is important because when you practice awareness, you're actually strengthening your ability to consciously redirect the communication between your amygdala and your prefrontal cortex, creating emotional balance. Okay, so let's go ahead and get right into the step-by-step guide on how to identify and map a personal trigger. So the first thing we're going to do is identify a trigger. Think of a time where you had a strong emotion. It can be fear, it can be sadness, it can be disappointment. So let's say, for example, a friend didn't text you back and that made you feel unimportant to them. That can be the trigger we're working with. Step 2, pause and describe the automatic reaction you had to that emotion. Ask yourself, what was your immediate thought when your friend didn't text you back? Did you feel rejected? Did your body tighten? Did you get a lump in your throat? This feeling is your amygdala activating. This is your brain's rapid alarm system telling you that there is a potential threat. Number 3, observe your mental story. What were your immediate thoughts that you start to tell yourself when your friend didn't text you back? I want you to notice without judgment how your mind labeled that event. Maybe you told yourself that you're not important to them or you feel rejected by them. These are called interpretive patterns and they're built from past experiences. I want you to note that science has discovered that more than 50% of our memories are inaccurate or embellished. Over time, they just become distorted fractions instead of an actual playback of what has happened. This is important to know because emotional memories are anchored to past experiences. And this is important to know because this is where your mind will tend to repeat those emotions based off imagination or repetition. Your mind will start to blend the truth with perception. This means that only about half of what you remember is accurate, and the other half is your body's emotional chemistry repeating the past. This happens because your brain will fill in those missing gaps based on your current emotional state, your beliefs, and your conditioning. So the hippocampus, which is the memory center of your brain, and the prefrontal cortex, which is that rational regulator we spoke about earlier, they actually reconstruct your memories instead of retrieving them. So, for example, this is like looking at a photo and then having that photo removed and trying to recall what is in that photo. That is like a memory. And so over time, if you only seen that picture once, you're going to start to begin to forget little details. You may forget where you were, or who was in the picture, or what color shirts everybody was wearing, or what objects were in the background. That is how our brain works. It can only reconstruct, it can't retrieve. This is why over time, memories that have strong emotions behind them actually become the least accurate. This is because they are repeated through the way it made you feel instead of what actually happened. So I know that was a lot of scientific terms, but I basically wanted to break that down so it can help you realize that emotional pain is tied to perceived memory instead of the truth. And I know it's hard to hear because we want to believe that we remember everything accurately, but that's just not always the case. But the good thing is that by changing your emotional association with a certain memory, you can actually unwire that past experience. Therefore, you won't be triggered anymore. And a Bible verse that I love that I feel like speaks to this highly is Romans 12:2, which states, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind." There's literally so much inner work in neuroscience in the Bible if you look closely and you actually break it down. The number one source of inner work for me has been the Bible. Like, seriously. There's just so much good stuff in there. It's crazy. We're honestly just catching up to what it says. Okay, so now we're gonna go on to number 4, which is trace the pathway. So we spoke about the amygdala, which is like, let's say in a house, the amygdala is the fire alarm. It detects potential threats. But just because the fire alarm goes off doesn't mean there's an actual fire. And then we have the hypothalamus. This activates your stress hormones. This is the thing that puts you into fight or flight. It lets you know, let's get ready for a potential threat. And then we have number 3, we have the prefrontal cortex. This is like the adult in the house. This is the part of your brain that actually steps in and is rational and is like, okay, before everybody runs out the house because they believe it's a fire, let's actually check. And if it's not, then we can calm the situation down. The 4th is the vagal nerve, or the body feedback. The vagal nerve is the longest nerve in your body. It's actually a nerve that runs from the back of your head all the way down your body. And I actually spoke about the 3 energy states of the nervous system in another video, and I'll have that linked in the description if you guys want to go deeper into that. So in this state, your breathing, your posture, your muscle tension can actually influence the feedback loop that your body sends to your brain, and it can tell your brain, okay, we can calm down now, or we have to hurry up and get ready to fight. So this is the model of what happens in your body and your brain when you get triggered. So something or someone triggers you. The first thing to respond is the amygdala. This is the fire alarm we spoke about. Just because it's going off does not mean there's an actual fire. The next will be your body sensation. You'll feel tightness, your posture may change, your breathing may speed up. After that, it's your prefrontal cortex. Like we said, this is like the adult that actually goes downstairs and checks, is it a fire, or is the fire alarm just going off because maybe the burner is on high? And then from there, based on what the prefrontal cortex evaluates, whether it's a fire or just a false alarm, your body will either calm or it will tense up. That is the pathway of how a trigger affects your body and your brain. One way to help address a trigger is to find a place within this model where you can take 3 deep breaths. This will help you calm down before you escalate. It brings you back to a center of calm. And this also allows your prefrontal cortex to rationalize the situation before you just rapid fire at the mouth and say something that you might regret. Number 5 is regulate and rewire. So this is where we do a top-down approach. And in this approach, your prefrontal cortex is activated. This is the part of you that's rational. This is the part of you that tries to make sense of your surroundings. So the first thing you will be doing is breathing. If you can control your breath, you can control your emotions. So you'll be doing the 4-7-8 method. And deep breathing, especially the 4-7-8, actually lowers your amygdala alerts. So this breathing will turn off that fire alarm that's going off. So how you do it is you inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. You hold that breath for 7 seconds. And you slowly release throughout your mouth for 8 seconds. And you will repeat this for 4 rounds. Going back to the example we used with the friend not texting you back. Another thing you can do is reframe your thought. That is very powerful. Instead of saying, oh, my friend didn't text me back, I feel rejected by them, I'm not important to them. Tell yourself, my friend didn't text me back because they're busy, but they will get back to me when they get a chance. That already right there is rewiring your brain. Another thing you can do is move or stretch. Movement helps release stress. For example, think of a dog that just got wet. What's the first thing they do? They shake. They don't shake because they're trying to dry. They shake because movement actually relieves stress. It's a somatic release. So over time, this repetition and being able to consciously point out your trigger and take the time to map it down where it came from, which is usually childhood, which we can get into another video. Childhood and inner work, that's another time. But basically, doing this, it will help you create a calmer emotional state. So when you do get triggered, you won't have an emotional response. That's what this is all about. Being able to control your emotions and understand why that emotion is popping up. Now I have a few reflections and questions that you can answer to help you go deeper into this. So go ahead and grab a pen and a piece of paper. So the first question is, how does your body signal early amygdala activation? Basically, what does your body first do when you are triggered? For me personally, I feel my face gets hot. I start sweating and I get like a lump in my throat. That is how I know something has just triggered me. The second is, what helps your prefrontal cortex come back online faster? So what helps you calm down? What helps you reframe that negative thought that is going along with that trigger? So for me, it's breathing and reframing, like I said. So if I do feel something, instead of taking it personally, like say somebody cut me off, instead of feeling frustrated that I just got cut off, I'll tell myself, maybe they're on the way to the hospital because someone that they love is in need. Maybe they're rushing home because their family needs them. Maybe they have someone in the car that's having an emergency. Reframing your thought like that can instantly bring you back to a calm place. Number 3 is, where in daily life can you practice tracing and rewiring this pathway? So for example, maybe you have certain friends that trigger you, or your partner triggers you, or someone at work triggers you. Take the moment to take that trigger and take your time working through where that trigger is coming from. As you observe and redirect your body and brain's emotional trigger cycle, you will begin to be able to work through personal triggers as well as help others around you work through them as well. I'm so excited that you guys watched this video. The fact that you're here already means so much. I would love to hear if there's anything in specific that you guys are struggling with down below. Please don't hesitate to leave a comment, share this with somebody that you love, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.